Welcome to the Independent Artist Podcast, sponsored by the National Association of Independent Artists.
Also sponsored by Zapplication. I'm Will Armstrong, and I'm a mixed media artist.
I'm Douglas Sigworth, glassblower. Join our conversations with professional working artists. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back to the Independent Artist Podcast.
Yeah, I have lots of things to say.
As evidenced by that long pause.
Yeah, art shows.
Yay.
Everyone likes them. Happy New Year, Douglas. It's nice to see you. We thought we would do a little end of 25 recap and a looking forward to 2026 kind of show. So it'll just be the two of us this week. Lots of things planned and lots of guests who are excited to come on the show this year. But this will just be you and me.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. We haven't had a good long conversation in a bit.
We have not. And the camera is bad enough on the old MacBook that you can't see my head wound or my
head wound,
scarred up nose. Yeah.
What'd you do?
Use sunscreen, folks.
Oh, boy.
I had a little biopsy on something on my nose there. So we'll find out in a week or so whether I have to, how extensive that'll be. And then as I was leaving Richmond, Virginia, I got all of the kids and mine and my wife's and all of our luggage out of the car and then walked straight into a no parking sign. Just pakong.
Oh.
So got a little head wound Harry action happening. So happy New Year to you.
Jeez, man. I was trying to
you don't have a cancer segue?
No, but I am trying to tell a story about an experience where I walked into a plate glass window, not thinking that I was walking into clear glass. Not fun. So I feel your pain there walking into that sign.
Yeah. I love attention like that. So walking into the airport with just blood trickling down my face, it's just a flesh wound.
Okay. Very good. But how you doing, my friend?
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm way behind. I had to kind of unexpectedly take most of December off. Was planning on doing more of just, going from one of a kind into kind of some production while my mom and dad were here, but my dad died. So
slow down.
No, I just wanted to gloss over it.
I'm getting shaky even thinking about talking about it. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, it's been up and down. I didn't want to talk about it the last podcast. I just didn't feel like it. And I don't know that I necessarily feel like talking about it again, but my father passed away Thanksgiving night or early the next morning, really. But the night after Thanksgiving. So that kind of changes your plans a little bit. It's just been in and out. I just got back from Virginia where we had a really nice, honestly, could not have been a more perfect service. But you and I have already spoken about that. You've already expressed your very kind, heartfelt condolences. And we don't need to do that for the fine people here that are listening. We've already done our thing in the private. As far as work goes, it changes things.
Sure.
When you can't.
Yeah.
My mom still came for the holidays and that was amazing. And obviously a lot different, but then kind of wanted to give all of my attention to that visit. And typically I'd probably do some work while she and my dad do things, but no dad. So
right.
Anyway.
So you've got catch up to do. I mean, you got about 6 weeks here coming, or 4 weeks before the next one?
I think.
God,
we've got the Grove coming up. So let's just switch gears. Sorry to start on a.
Well, it's kind of like real life, and we can't just gloss over that stuff, and so it's important to know what you're dealing with when it comes to doing your life and getting ready to do art shows. And when life gets in the way, obviously art shows have to take a back burner. But now switching those gears and just getting ready for the next show is a lot. So
yeah, really, it's actually all of because I was going to do all of my custom work in December. I've got 2 or 3 big projects that are on the shelf, so it's catching up for that. A couple of those are delivery. Actually, 1, 2, 3 big things that are all being delivered in Florida.
Well, we've been working towards getting ready for that first run of shows. You and I are going to be at the same first show here at the Grove in Miami. We're at that point where we have to switch gears because up until now, it's been just going into the studio and making work and just kind of having that at home. I've got all the time in the world to build up inventory and just kind of do the winter schedule kind of thing.
Right.
And, the basement studio is filling up with all these pieces that need to be finished. And it's just feeling really like disorganized. It's just feeling like things are piling up. And how are we going to take what we've made and now like get it ready to show and to go off to the first run of shows? And so that is tricky.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. You talk about starting off the year at this run. And I had gone from Coconut Grove being a really great show to being kind of medium to kind of being a little poor to just being a reason to get out of the winter months in Virginia. And I really had not given it a second thought. But last year when I went back there to that show, I mean, it was just so damn good for me that now it's all of a sudden, I don't know, you have these shows. We're always talking about this is a major and this is a minor. And it's like what we mean by that is the fact that if I get into a show that is a major one for me, what that means for me is that it is double, triple, possibly quadruple what a regular show is, which means I don't have to travel as much. Yeah. So that's what I personally mean by that. It's like if a show doubles my typical average for a show, it means I don't have to travel.
Right. So that's one more show that you don't have to drive cross country for.
And I just had an interesting conversation with somebody yesterday when we were talking about Winter Park, and I had written it down on my calendar wrong.
Oh, like the weekend of when it is? Or
yeah, like it's like 2 weeks later in the year than I thought it was. Yeah, now I'm looking at...
and are you doing that one?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. So are we. So we'll see you there.
Nice.
Cool.
And that's the plan. I've got driving across the country to get to Miami for that Valentine's Day weekend show. And then my wife has Baltimore ACC. So we're going to drive up the coast and go to Baltimore. And then that gets us close to Richmond, where I'm from. So I get to see mom again.
Cool.
And work in a couple more visits this year. Then so we'll do that. And then my daughter, the very next weekend, has a traveling volleyball tournament.
Wow. Yeah.
So she's on a club team, a pretty high-ranking club team. And so she's got a tournament in Orlando. So I'm going to turn tail from Baltimore and head straight back down 95.
But that timed out pretty good that it's in Orlando and Winter Park. I mean, is it all right at the same,
So I'll get ready for that run. But that's what I was thinking. I was thinking I had time to kill because I thought it was the next weekend. And I'm like, wait, hold up. I get 2 weeks. So at that point, then I'll be flying back to Santa Fe, and then I'm going to be cramming for Texas.
Logistics. I mean, total logistics mode right now. It's like, how do we make what we've gotten into work?
Right. Yeah. And then the production mode that I'm in right now, or will be, is going to be like all for Florida.
Okay.
And so anyway, that 2 weeks kind of just kind of buys me time. And then the fact that I can just fly down, zip down and do that one. And then I start the long slog back home.
Do you make different work or different themed work for Florida versus Texas? Or is it basically your stories are your stories wherever you show?
Typically, my stories are my stories wherever I go. And that will be the thing. I do have, since I moved out to Santa Fe, I've started kind of being more influenced by the West and those stories.
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough actually to jury into Fort Worth with 2 bodies of work.
Damn.
So I hit them hard with my cowboy kind of Western application. Perfect. And then I hit them with my regular work too. So I've got, I'm allowed to show both.
Great.
There. So pretty different bodies of work, but they will totally work for that one. I've done that before there, and it's kind of an embarrassment of riches after a few years of not doing Main Street. I haven't gotten in. So getting to come back and just kick the door in with 20 feet as opposed to 10.
I have a question for you with having 2 bodies of work at a show like that. Will you typically show in one booth, one body, and the next booth a different, or do you kind of intersperse it like a gallery?
I intersperse it a little bit. I will focus more heavily on one side, but I've got kind of what I call like transitional pieces that bring those stories into, and we'll kind of hang those in the middle and all of that in my mind,
Right.
And then all of that'll work great until I start selling pieces, and then it's just like mishmash.
Here's a spot. Here's a spot where it goes.
Like whatever looks good. Right. Exactly. So. Yeah, I'm super excited about that. And then if weather happens or people need a double dip or they want another look, I'm planning on South Lake after that one.
Right.
So the same neighborhood kind of, but my people the last couple of years when I haven't done Main Street, they've come out to see me in South Lake, and I've had good shows there. So it'll be interesting to try to do both of them.
My experience with doing those two shows is there are people I find out in, I don't know if I would call it the suburbs, but like, outskirts of the downtown area where, unless maybe they are collectors of ours and they want to, they know we won't be out in South Lake, that they would come in down to Main Street, Fort Worth. But I don't know if my experience is that they're the same customers walking up and down the street at both of those shows.
Yeah, the reason, South Lake is a big show, and it got, it first kind of became on my radar when I was delivering. I had like 2 deliveries, and they were both to the South Lake neighborhood. And I was talking to those clients, and I'm like walking around there thinking, this would be a pretty good spot for a show. They built this Main Street square down in South Lake. They built it and modeled it after the town square in Back to the Future.
Are you kidding?
The town builders, the town builders loved the way that old kind of old school 50s style looked. But don't dig too deep on the history of that area, though.
Okay.
Unless you want to just be super disturbed.
Okay. Well, do we want to disturb the listeners? Because I'm really curious, and if you don't want to tell it on air, I'll ask later.
It's an interesting, like a lot of places in the country, that particular area is fraught with history. So if you want to have a little interesting dip there, check out your Wikipedia for that.
Or your ChatGPT has become my new best friend. I'm not even kidding.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know.
I don't use it.
You don't use it?
No. What is it?
You know what it is. You didn't know.
No, I don't. I don't really use it. I know what it is. I know it's it's AI, but I don't know. I don't use it.
Okay.
Tell Grandpa what it is. Come on.
Well, my kids have told me about this for years, and I'm just like, whatever. But what it does is it scours the web, and it sifts through all the information, and it finds the best answer to whatever question you want.
Okay.
So like recently I put in all my medical diagnoses from when I was a kid, how I was born with some deformities. And I said, what could I expect through my life based on these physical deformities? And it laid out in full detail what I'm currently experiencing as a 50-year-old with just physical things that are breaking down.
55.
Okay. I'll say 50 until I'm 60.
Me too. But sorry to throw you under the bus.
But anyway.
You did that to me. But no, that's interesting.
But you can do that with just about any kind of question or information, or like making your website better, or any information that you want. I've been going to my ChatGPT app and asking a question about it, and it provides such a thorough explanation on things. So I have been leaning into it a lot more lately.
I hate it.
I know you do.
I hate that shit.
Once you do ChatGPT, you'll never Google anything again, because Google is all about, just providing information that is at like the top of the search engine or whatever. But then you still have to figure out if it applies or not. That's the good thing about the ChatGPT, you're old when you put the in front of stuff all the time.
Oh, yeah. The Chat GPT.
In front of the Chat GPT.
Yeah, the Google.
The Google. Anyway.
So you don't use the Google anymore? You use the Chat GPT?
I haven't Googled anything in probably a month.
Yeah.
Serious.
What is it? Is it an app on your phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can do like an entry, the one that's for free, but then it limits how much information it'll give you. It wants you to pay for a subscription. But then it remembers stuff about you. And it makes the information that you are looking for tailored to stuff pertaining like it'll remember things. So it'll be interesting. Like I'll ask a question about, this hurts now. And it will say, well, given your history of bilateral ankle fusions and this blah, 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 this is what we would recommend for you. So it's been helping with physical therapy type stuff for me.
Okay.
It's just been really interesting. I'm really enjoying it.
We had a nice conversation with the Janine where she was talking about how she uses AI, and I don't know. I still haven't found a use for it, and maybe I won't.
Yeah.
Maybe I will. Maybe I'll send all of my excuse emails to my clients. Maybe I'll get them to write that. I do know that people use that. Hey, are you going to participate? I don't think the email has gone out yet, but we talked a little bit about emerging artist programs and things like that. Are you going to do that in Miami this year if they need you?
I don't think so. I mean, if they need me, sure. I mean, if they're lacking in people, but not this year. I think I'm just going to focus on keeping things, what's right in front of me and keeping my head in the game for. I mean, it's so much to get there and to make sales and to just do what we need to do to make a living.
Right.
I mean, I want to help other people, and I'm helping by, I think, doing her podcast.
Yeah, I totally are. Yeah. You spend a lot of time donating back to your time to the community this way, for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Nobody would fault you for that at all. Actually, we just turned down somebody. I felt really bad about this, but there's a super interesting YouTube Zoom thing that Cord Anderson and Bonnie Blandford do.
Yeah.
And they asked us, and they've been trying to ask us for the last couple of years, and I totally big leagued them. I just had to turn them down. I was like, if I'm going to talk to you, because they wanted to have us on that, and I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to talk to you, then you and I are going to sit down. We barely have time to sit down and do this as it is.
It has been tricky to even this last year to find the time. And now that we've actually nailed it down and created a new kind of a structure for ourselves, even these once a monthers. I mean, how many times did we try to record this episode?
Yeah. But you know what? Your dad only dies once. Sorry.
In this life, maybe the next life, they, multiple.
Oh, God. All right. Yeah. Still. All right. Fair enough. Oh, man. So anyway, the reason I was asking, I was almost thinking, I'm looking at hiring somebody for one of these shows, the Fort Worth one that we just mentioned. Okay. I'm looking at hiring somebody to help me because it is such a mass of humanity. And you get the gamut from, it runs the gamut from super well-heeled people that are interested in large things to, just somebody who's down there at the fest having a beer and wants to talk about cowboy hats, which
turkey legs.
That's fine too. It's turkey leg, schmirky leg, but still, it's. And I'm not disparaging the clientele at all. It's just you get every different kind of person at that show. And I was looking.
You've told a story in the past about what's the name of the Walton lady with Walmart?
Oh yeah. I mean, for sure,
doesn't get more upper crust than that.
No, it's the richest lady in the world.
There you go.
I mean, I'm not wrong, right?
Right. No, right. So you see those people walking the show, as
somebody who just wants to come down and hear the music and have a cold beer,
right?
So anyway, they all want to kind of talk to you, and I was looking at that. I was like, man, I wonder if there's ever like an emerging artist program where because I'm looking for help, and I'm like, man, it would be kind of cool to have like a graduation step for an emerging artist to where they actually get to participate in the sales and participate in the thing for a full weekend. Right. Setup, breakdown. It would be like boot camp, and and then interior dialogue. I'm like, are you just looking for free help?
But I mean, it's the whole apprentice thing. I mean, glass artists hire apprentices all the time. They learn.
You don't make your own work? What?
No. To do stuff like walk around the studio and open your glory hole doors and furnaces and bringing you hot glass. And
disgusting.
I know.
Hot glass.
I just, I try and work into every conversation the word glory hole just so I can, see you just go, oh God, here we go again with glory holes.
Yep.
Well, speaking of glory holes, I do have something I want to talk about glass related.
Love a glory hole segue.
Good old fashioned glory holes. We bought a documentary that we've been so excited to come out. We knew it was been coming out for a while.
This goes.
What? It's a glass artist.
I said I cannot wait to see where this goes. Go ahead.
Documentary on glory holes. No, documentary on one of the greatest glass blowers in the world, as far as I'm concerned. But
Chihuly.
Not Chihuly. Lino Tagliapietra. It was so fucking cool. It was so cool to see his story and how he came to the U.S. and worked with Chihuly collaborated with Chihuly back in the late 70s, early 80s, and just his influence on American craft and glass. And, some of the people who worked for Lino are also in their own rights huge glass blowing icons in the country, like Nancy Callan and Dante Marioni, and hearing them talk about their connection to glass and their process and all that stuff was just like, oh my God, I could have watched that over and over and over again. It was really interesting.
You should watch it once more for me, because I'm not going to watch it.
You're not going to. But something you will find interesting, and this is the whole reason I wanted to tell you about it, and it was the fact that when he came to the U.S., people in other artists or other, it was more like he came from the factory setting in Murano in Italy. Other glass workers gave him the title of maestro. And he's very unassuming and humble. And he's like, oh, whatever. I am okay. I'm a good glass blower, but whatever. Maestro, whatever. It's kind of overused. And maestro means master, obviously.
Yep.
So he tells this funny story about coming to the U.S. and how he would never call himself a master. But he says when he came to the U.S., he noticed all these craft artists are quickly wanting to call themselves, without putting the amount of years or time into their craft, they'll start assigning themselves the name master.
Oh, you can't gloss yourself maestro.
No, you can't just say, I am a master glass blower, master of my craft or whatever. That is something that is bestowed upon you. So
gotcha.
I thought that was pretty interesting.
You know what? If you can't gloss yourself, who's going to gloss you? I am the maestro. Yeah, you motherfucker. That's little Beastie Boys for you.
But the whole premise behind it was talking about his history, but then they're getting ready for his retirement. And this dude is 89 years old. And they're talking about him like he's like, the greatest glass blower ever, which he is. But, when you get to be 89 years old and the glass blowing pipe is heavy and the pieces that Lino makes are massive. So really what it turns into is a team of people carrying this thing around, bringing it to the bench. Okay, here's Grandpa now. They're turning the pipe for him while he's doing some work on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was just so cool to even see the reverence and the respect for him and to be 89 years old and still be making glass. I think that's pretty
making it himself too. Yeah. Even if he's just, see, he's got somebody doing the heavy lifting. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So anyway, anyone who's interested in looking that up, it's not something you can like rent or buy from Amazon. You have to actually go to the website for the documentary. And if anybody would like to see it, it's called Sono Lino. And if you put that into Google and go to their website, you can buy it through that website.
Are we getting money from Google and Amazon now? What the hell?
I don't know. It seems like every time we sit down to talk, we have this thing that recurs through our conversation for the whole hour.
I feel like that Wayne's World segment where they start with the second movie when they're like holding up their product placement. Yeah, those movies actually still hold up. They're actually pretty good. They're really funny.
Swing! This episode of the Independent Artist Podcast is brought to you by Zap, the digital application service where artists and art festivals connect.
Douglas, I'm thrilled this week that we are being sponsored and supported by Zapplication.org.
It's really great that they appreciate what we're doing here on the podcast.
And I appreciate what they are doing, basically because I feel like I'm an intensely lazy man. And they make the entire art show process, signing up for shows, a lot easier.
And they have that tagging feature for us. That way we can put little notes about a show to help us maybe with building that perfect tour.
Or you can write whatever you want on it. You can write, hey, this show sucked last year, but it had promise. Uh-huh. It's going to be exactly what you need it to be. And I appreciate that extra bonus feature.
Yeah, me too.
Douglas, when you go somewhere, do you like to just
go there and go back. Is that what you like?
Nope. I like to create a tour. I like it when my shows line up sequentially and I can kind of knock one off in a row.
We know artists that only hit Florida. We know artists that only hit Texas. We've got one for you, folks, and this can put together a nice little string of shows here for you in the late summer.
That's right. This is a call for entry, not for one show, but for 4 different shows. They are their own individual high-quality shows that are in a similar proximity and timeline. We're going to call this the Western Run.
That's not our bit. That's their bit. And it's just like a little hop, skip, and a jump from show to show to show, and it just makes a really pleasant time.
We've got the Kimball Arts Festival in Park City, Utah, followed by Sun Valley Arts and Crafts Festival in Sun Valley, Idaho, Art in the High Desert, Bend, Oregon, and then you end up in Portland at Art in the Pearl on Labor Day weekend.
What I can tell you about Park City and the Kimball Arts Festival is that it's a beautiful location. How's this for a pun? Mountains of people. How about that come out to this show?
That's right.
Sun Valley, a little bit different. You go out to this beautiful park location.
When you hear Sun Valley, you think the upper crust and those with multiple homes. So it's definitely the audience that we would like to put our work in front of.
I've actually got to see Jamie Lee Curtis there one year, so you know they've got some money out there. They're attracting that kind of clientele.
Yeah.
Next, Art in the High Desert.
The thing about Art in the High Desert that is quite special, in my opinion, is that it is run by a board of artists creating a show for artists, so they know what's important to us.
Speaking of shows that are run by artists, Art in the Pearl always has been as well. Their board is completely artists, and a lot of the folks that we've had on this show.
They put the hip in hipster, don't they?
They do.
And it's their 30th anniversary year.
However you folks decide to put your schedule together, definitely keep those 4 in mind as far as a nice tour goes.
The deadline for all these shows are coming up real quick, so don't waste any time and check it out.
We'll see you out there on the road. Let's see. Cocaine. Did we talk about cocaine?
Mm-mm.
I really like it. I think it's just delicious. No, I don't. I just always thought, like, I've talked to some restaurant friends and they talk about like the cocaine run in the 80s and 90s and how that kind of fueled them. It's like with all of these artists, I'm always a little surprised that a cocaine habit never really developed with all of this, like the bad sleep and the road and getting there and trying to set up and get up at 4 a.m. to set up a show and then sell all day. I'm surprised that a big bad nose candy habit hasn't developed.
For you or for others?
Just for others. And when I was in high school, I ran track. I'm 6'3".
Okay.
At the time, I was probably 6'3", 150. You know, I was just like a beanpole.
Right.
And I was running track. I was in great shape. Best shape, always 17, 18. But like right around the time that Lynn Bias of Maryland died of a cocaine overdose, my mom told me, it's just around the breakfast table, don't ever try that. If it ever comes across your way, you have a weak heart and you'll die. I was like, whoa. I've never been told I have a weak heart. That's crazy. And I kind of thought about it for a while. And, you get through your 20s, and I did a lot of restaurant work. And but as things would come and go, I would, be offered it and you'd be around it. And I always turned it down. And it wasn't until I was probably in my late 20s and kind of past that time that I realized this is the best shape of my life. And I'm starting to go like my own doctor's appointments and things. And like, I'm in great health. And I'm like, well, how's my heart? Is it weak? My doctor's like, no, you got great blood pressure and you keep yourself in shape. Like, no, you don't have a weak heart. I'm like, my mom it's just some bullshit she told me.
Did she make it up so you wouldn't?
Yeah, she totally made it up.
Oh my God. Did you ever ask her about that?
Yeah, she denies it. She's like, I never said that.
Okay.
But yeah.
She's like, oh, did I say you have a weak heart? I meant you'll get a weak heart.
Oh yeah. So anyway, good on you, Ellen.
Kept you on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, I've been getting I've been getting a lot more scams lately in the email, and I think that's kind of funny. But like one of them is coming. It looks like it's coming from Square, but it really comes from Square.
Oh, A.
I got a bunch of A's in it. So like, very well played
trickery,
scammers.
And like when you go to look at the email address that it came from to be sure that it is legitimate, and then it's just like extra A's.
Right. Watch out for square, folks. But then the thing is, once you click on them, it can see that you clicked on it.
Right, and it says got him.
They can see that, like the open rate. So now they've got you on a different list. So they're never going to stop hitting you with this nonsense.
Yeah.
So it was interesting to see, Douglas. We pay attention this past year, obviously the first round of elections, and I'm a former Virginia guy, and I will always kind of count myself as a Virginian, and I have a lot of friends and family still there, and so I follow the races really closely. So but one of them was interesting. The guy that was running for Republican lieutenant governor is somebody that I knew really well. He was in my class in high school, my 60-person class. I knew him really well.
Okay. So you're voting for him? Well, I guess you're not voting for him. You don't live there anymore.
No, I mean, I don't vote in Virginia, and I wouldn't have voted for him anyway, because I think... he's a proud gay man, which is great, but he is a Republican and a staunch Trump supporter. And I just feel like, I couldn't possibly trust anyone that votes so firmly against their own best interests that I could never trust anybody like that. Right. And I guess Virginia felt the same way, because he just got his ass kicked. Oh, okay. But it just makes you think about, like, I'm sitting there looking at the news and this guy, and like, I remember he had this really great singing voice, and he would do he'd sing sometimes, and he was blocking entry into this classroom. We're all trying to get into this classroom. Mm-hmm. And my wife hates this story, but we had this huge recycling bin. It was made out of 4 full sheets of plywood right next to this big, right next to this standalone classroom in the middle of our high school campus.
Okay.
And it's full of, nasty sticky soda cans and old beer cans, and it's full all the way to the brim. And this guy's standing in front of the entryway to this classroom, and I really needed to get in there. And I picked this guy up and threw him in the cans. And he sunk into the cans like this big, sweaty, stinky ball pit. And he's laughing. I mean, we were laughing, and he's laughing, but I just went on in the classroom, and I'm like, that dude, I threw him in the cans. Like, he's running for lieutenant governor. He's a viable Republican candidate.
That's so crazy. I mean, to think back in time and be like, that guy I knew.
So, thank you, Virginia, for throwing him right in the cans.
You did it when you were in school, and now he's got it again.
It makes me sound like a bully. I wasn't a bully.
It does kind of sound like you were a bully. Are you sure?
Sounds like a bully thing. It was a bully thing. Yeah. Bullying has its place.
Time and place, right?
It does. Everybody's opinion is not valid. It's why we have flat earthers and has all this stuff. That's where bullying comes in. You're like, hey, stop it. Stop being so stupid.
Right.
Your opinion is not valid. The earth is not flat. Mm-hmm. I love there's that quote going around, like, more and more people are believing in flat earth around the globe.
Of course they are.
Repeat that real slow.
And let it sink in.
See if you get it. Yeah. Your Nazi opinions are no longer, they're not valid. You should be shamed. That's where the bullying comes in.
Yeah.
Your opinions are not valid.
You brought up politics, and we don't like to talk about politics, but I will say that we've gotten through a year, and it's been horrible. I mean, where can it go now? I mean, it constantly gets worse. It just constantly is like, now we're invading other countries because we want their oil. How can we even plan for what this year is going to be like?
You can't.
No.
Just do your thing.
You got to pretend it's going to be normal and just roll with it.
Yeah, I guess. And I don't know. We have clients on both sides of the thing, and sometimes people like to just comfort themselves with their art purchases, and I know that's true with a lot of excuse me. I got sick at that One of a Kind show again.
Oh,
every goddamn year. Every year. I got this like deep in the chest kind of funk that I just couldn't shake. And I'm still coughing stuff up. Sorry.
Those aisles are so narrow and the ceiling is so low. It literally feels like you're just, you're kind of trapped in this tiny, it's a big floor and there's lots of exhibitors and lots of people walking through, but it does feel like the exposure to germs is freaking high that time of the year. And
it is. I got my a couple of vaccine boosters, and thought I could escape, but I actually, they treated me. This was funny. I got to the doctor's office and they were like, yeah, we're gonna we can't do a scan for you until after 5 o'clock. This might be pneumonia the way it sounds, but come back at 5 o'clock, we'll do a scan.
Wow.
Come back at 5 o'clock. We're sending our x-ray techs home because it's 5 o'clock. I'm like,
why'd you tell me to come back?
So we're just going to treat you like it's pneumonia. So they just treated it.
So
like
does that just come with antibiotics or something?
Yeah, I just got hit with the heavy doses of antibiotics and actually got an inhaler too, like a albuterol like inhaler, like if you have asthma.
Yeah.
And so I had that, and then it comes with like this weird little pipe on. I was like, did you just give me a medical bong? Like, what is this?
It seems that way.
Long plastic pipe with like, where do you put the water in it?
And they give you a little cocaine for that.
Cocaine. Don't do drugs, folks. Stay in school.
You have a weak heart.
It's right.
Hey, so in the news around here lately, I always think of where I live. We're on the outskirts of the Twin Cities, and I feel like it's, you wouldn't think that our area would make major news and stuff. Mm-hmm. But ICE is in Minneapolis, and ICE now is in Hudson and River Falls, Wisconsin, of all places.
Crazy.
It's just like I'm getting posts, from our local neighborhood community centers, and it's saying, hey, everybody, be aware, ICE is here. At first, I'm thinking, are they talking about an ice storm? No, they're talking about immigration enforcement. It's
just so creepy when you see these people out with their masks on. There was security detail downtown when we'd gone to see a show. Mm-hmm. Came out of the theater, and there are these guys with like masks on. And I talked to the family later, and my daughters were like, use your white privilege for good. I should have just asked them, just, hey, what are you? Who are you? Why are you here?
Right.
I don't know. Scary times.
I don't know where to go with that. I have a conversation that I had with Amanda Outcalled that we will be airing later this year. And she's in DC. And she says that, there are signs all around DC that says ICE was here, and it's a very dystopian feeling.
Yeah, it really is. It's pretty strange.
It's hard to be creative and optimistic when you've got so many things like this going on. It's almost like you have to dissociate or block that out and just be like, this isn't happening. Or
for sure. That brings me to a different topic, and it kind of is, it's related in some way because I do have a difficulty with it when there are so many different distractions and things happening. Mm-hmm. It's like kind of I feel like you take a gamble in this art show world, and it's harder to find your clients, and it's harder to find your people, and harder to sell when you do something about something versus something that's just decorative. Mm-hmm. And it's hard. It's a hard road to go to hoe. And is that the right expression? Road to hoe.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
And my mom used to say that. But anyway, it's a tough road, and that's what I would have asked Amanda about because her work is specific. Mm-hmm. She'll bring different animals and things, and it is more illustrative as opposed to, kind of decorative. But I don't know. I do find it to be a hard sell, like when sometimes people's booths are, okay, that's pretty. Mm-hmm. And it's not like I'm digging deep on any real, profound, deep subjects all of the time, but it is a tougher sell. And I'm not trying to talk about politics. I don't know. I think that's an interesting balance that you and I have, like, I'm an illustrator and you're a glass blower, mm-hmm. and where we get our influences and how we find our people. It's just, I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
It's a mystery. It really is. I feel like when we got started and we were trying to kind of find who our audience was, there's a lot of, if people walk in your booth and they say, you know what, if you made this, I would have bought it. Mm-hmm. And then we go home and we chase our tail and we say, let's show up at our next show with what they just said because there's a demand for that. And then, of course, you sit with it and nobody buys it. And you're like, what the heck?
It's only one guy.
Yeah. And so it is really kind of finding what is the work, back to your Venn diagram, but the work you like to make and the work that people resonate with and want to buy. Mm-hmm. And then kind of going back to that sweet spot. And I think that the only way to get to that sweet spot is to continue making things you like to make and seeing how people react to it. And
Right.
and it just takes time and experience, and then sometimes, you find something that hits, and when it hits good, and you're like, holy shit. Where did this come from? I mean, you just
Right.
yeah, and that's like gold.
Exactly. And I'll find certain aspects of the stories I like to tell that hit harder than others. And I'm like, okay, let me hang out here for a while. And then you try to bring in new ones, and you have to, especially in this, we are lucky, you and I, we are lucky enough to be operating at a pretty high level, and kind of we're in the food chain where we want to be, and we're doing the shows for the most part where we're putting a schedule together of really nice shows. And it's like, when you do that, all of a sudden, I've talked to Daryl Thetford about that, and it's like all of a sudden there's a bigger target on your back. And there are more people who are like, oh, well, let me try to make my work a little bit more like that. And you have these very highly skilled artists that don't know what they want to actually create, which, I don't know, you have to be constantly evolving, or you run the risk of people catching up to you.
I don't know of any artist who, operating at a high level, as you would say, or maybe the jury goes their way a little more than maybe somebody else, that across the board, when I've had the impression that those people who get into the top shows, and I think to myself, they get in everything. So they must have this sense of calm, or this sense of like, I just make what I want and I don't have to worry if I'm going to get into the shows. And the reactions have always been, hey, every application is like reinventing the wheel. It's like, I could have done the exact same thing I did last year, put in those applications, and I got into every good show last year, but this year I get into nothing. So I feel like this time of year is just wrought with anxiety and nerves, because it's just hard to know, are you going to make what you need to make by the end of the year to fund your life? So I am surprised that I would think that that some artists would get this sense of comfort that they feel like they can trust. But I don't know of any artist, no matter what they've done over the years, that feel that sense of, I don't need to worry about nothing.
I know a couple.
You know a couple?
Yeah, I know a couple.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to call them out by name, but I'm like, man, it's going to bite you. It's going to bite you in the ass eventually. It's just, you just can't rest on laurels, the one body of work where you're kind of sitting back. You kind of, I don't know, you have to constantly evolve for your own benefit too, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to share with you is, I'm really excited because we are heading off to New York tomorrow.
Fantastic.
I mean, I know it was just last episode we talked about doing this trip and doing some installations, but it has felt like a solid maybe 2 months since we've actually left home.
Yeah.
And
so you're loading up the van and you're not even doing a show?
Actually, not even loading up the van. So this is totally different for us. We sold a collection to somebody earlier this year or last year. And they said, but our house isn't done, and we don't want to miss out on this or letting what you have right here slip out from under our fingers. So can we buy it and you hold on to it till our house is done? I'm like, yeah, great. I mean, that's cool. Like every artist's dream.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, they said, but we're in New York City and we don't have any confidence in ourselves to hang your glass on our wall.
Sure.
And of course, for years, we've had this dream or this goal to take a New York vacation and just take in everything New York City has to offer. It just hasn't happened.
Right.
And so we were very quick to say, no problem.
Can I ask you a work question about that before you tell me the fun part of it?
Yeah, definitely.
How do you guys handle that as far as, I mean, your installation time does that just come with the piece, or do you charge for installation work?
We consider our installation cost to be free.
Okay.
Not to get too much in depth with what we've done for research with legality and stuff like that and liability type stuff.
No, that I understand.
But so we don't charge for that. And depending upon when we have the sale, our ultimate goal is to sell it that weekend. So if we say we'll install it for free, then that gives more of a push for them to bite the bullet right then and there and do the sale instead of waiting and thinking about it and getting back to us and then having them hang it themselves.
I was just thinking, I mean, with this particular trip and shipping and then you guys flying out, and I mean, that's costing you quite a bit, but you just kind of.
So I'm not thinking of this trip as like the cost of this particular project is going to pay for the trip.
Right.
We think of it as we want a vacation and we haven't taken vacations. This is like the first year that we've taken any vacation since before our kids were born.
Awesome.
And so when we took this sail, we were like, we will come to New York City and we will be able to come do this installation, but then hang out there. And as you so nicely pointed out on our last episode, it's a tax write-off.
Heck yeah. Every part of it.
Every part of it, yeah. So we had to navigate, how are we going to do it? Because who wants to drive all the way out to New York and back in the snow and potential ice and all that kind of stuff? So I said, we're going to fly and we're going to send the work. But these folks, they weren't going to be home until the day we're doing the installation. So I had to figure out, where am I sending all this work to? And we were able to send it to the hotel. So it's waiting for us right now in Long Island, which is where we're going to be staying our first night. We pick up the work from the hotel. We drive to their place out past the Hampshires. Is that what it's called? Hamptons, right past the Hamptons.
I mean, Hampshires are different.
Yeah, right.
The Hamptons.
Past the Hamptons. And to do their install, but then we've got a nice Airbnb booked in the heart of like Manhattan area. So we'll after.
Very cool. Is the house in the Hamptons or up past it?
It's past it. There's an island called Shelter Island that they just built on. And yeah, I mean, super excited to just.
And they just built it?
Apparently they were.
So when you go there, and this, I'm just kind of, one of my interests too is architecture.
Yeah.
And if it comes up within conversation, find out who their architect is, because my old college roommate is like the go-to architect for up there. It's just fascinating to watch how big he is.
Cool.
So it would be really interesting, because I think he's like that. If they didn't use him, then they know of him. But
I see. Yeah.
So anyway, it's just be interesting. But Tom Hickey is his name.
Cool.
And grade.
Yeah, text me that later, because then I'll remember when I talk to him. But
for sure.
Yes, but I feel like all of the components of making this trip happen is kind of like an episode of The Amazing Race. You know, it's like, okay, we've got this problem. How do we solve it? You know, where are we going to send the work? Because at first, when they said they were in New York City, well, the Hamptons is not New York City.
No, that's not. It's not really that close.
So at first, I'm thinking we would just Uber around the city and we'd show up at their place from an Uber. But there's no Ubering 2.5 hours out of New York City. So rented a car and do their thing, and then we'll just be in the city for about 4 days, and we're just going to wing it. We didn't really book too much. We just want to be there. We'll do rush tickets for Broadway. We'll take in whatever shows and museums we can do.
I swear, we've talked off air a couple of different times, and you've mentioned getting rush tickets for Broadway. But every time you say it, I'm like, I cringe, because it sounds like you're like, we're going to go see Rush. And I'm like, you like Rush?
No.
I can't stand Rush. Like, that's like the worst rock band of all time.
It's like you have a trigger reaction.
They're all very talented. It's the way I feel about Rush is like they've got all the talent in the world and zero good songs.
Okay.
So come at me, Rush fans.
And you're ready. You're ready to defend it, because
I can take the heat. Yeah, it's fine.
Man. So anyway, that's going to be a great time. And this episode is going to air after we've done the trip, but we're recording it literally when we're heading out the door tomorrow.
Yeah. What's your, do you got any dream shows that you'd really like to see? Anything that's playing right now that you'd kill to see, or you just want to roll with it and see whatever is available?
Pretty open. I mean, I'm pretty bummed that Waiting for Godot is gone now.
Keanu Reeves. Was the Keanu Reeves, Alex, was it Alex White?
I can't remember who the other actor was, but I knew of Keanu Reeves, and I might have started reciting the lines with them as I'm sitting in the audience, like a true
really
fan.
You know the show that well?
Yeah. My senior recital, I did a segment from Waiting for Godot.
Oh wow!
I think it's a really, really cool play. But I do want to see and I don't know if we'll get tickets because they're completely sold out. But you never know what'll happen. You know, day of, if people are trying to unload their tickets or something. But can't remember his name, but he was in Hamilton. He played the king, and he's won Tonys this year for his role in the current musical that he's in right now. So I would like to see that.
Brain worked, by the way. It's Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter.
Alex Winter, cool.
They were Bill and Ted, and then to do the kind of stepping up and doing the Samuel Beckett and Waiting for Godot.
Oh, I remember that now.
So yeah, they were Bill and Ted. So pretty
Excellent
cool to
adventure.
see that. Absolutely. I was a big fan. Watched that 100 times.
Really?
Oh my God, so many times.
Now, why do I think that it was Sean Penn who was with Keanu Reeves? Was that a different movie of the similar feel?
No. I mean, it's a similar character to Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Okay, so that's why.
Spicoli, but it's a different, totally different. Yeah, it's your brain doing it. I mean, and Alex Winter doesn't look unlike Sean Penn, so maybe you just weren't interested in my lowbrow shit back in the day. Oh man, but yeah, so there's so many great things playing or showing or what, not showing, playing. Yeah. How do you say?
Whatever they say.
Enjoy that. That's great. It's more fun to just roll with it.
Yeah. We kind of were planned when we went to Vegas. We booked our tickets and we knew what we were doing every night and every afternoon, and then we kind of filled in. But this one we thought, you know what? We don't really know what we want to do. Let's kind of just go and get inspired.
Very cool.
And then come back
very
and then
cool.
just frickin' hit it, because it's going to be like the Grove will be coming, and it's like we're going to be on that treadmill, and the shows are just going to be probably running us around the whole country. Yeah.
I was looking at it was funny because I wanted to get your thoughts on the year coming up, but it should be this week is coming up. It's next week and the week after, where all of these different shows are announcing everything from New Orleans Jazz Fest, Old Town Chicago, Brookside in Kansas City is announcing it's all.
I wonder if I got that application out. When was the application
Maybe I'm
due?
Wrong. That may not even be due yet.
You know what I've done this year is I've introduced some new images into our lineup.
Okay.
And so I didn't throw all the applications out at once. I'm kind of waiting to get some feedback from what we've done.
Maybe that's what it is. Because I know that those announce before, just right before Des Moines is due too. So I was kind of thinking about that. So it's like, well, if I can do this, then I can get that, and then I can back it up. And I don't know. It is all reminding me of applying for college right now, because my oldest daughter is applying like mad right now. She had a bunch of deadlines this past weekend, and she had one of the funny things about our particular set of skills, if you will, is that I can write really well and keep that 200, if it's a 300 word count and you can watch that word count down below. I'm really, just because of what we do for a living and all of these different applications year after year, I can do that. She was like, hey, I've got a 400 word thing. Can you help me knock it down to 250? I'm like, yeah.
You called the right guy.
You did.
It's either Will Armstrong or ChatGPT, because ChatGPT does that bonkers good.
Yeah. Fuck ChatGPT, Douglas. It says actually you can't catch it, but it does say in those applications that you're not supposed to use ChatGPT. We want to know the real student here, and you're doing yourself a disservice. We want to know the real person that...
Right.
And because you can run any paper that you've ever written through whatever, and they'll correct all of your grammar.
Yeah.
But does that really help you?
No. But I think that what has been helpful is entering in a few key points and say, I need a 400-word essay on this or whatever, describing my technique or my background. These are the things I want. And then it gives you a framework. You go in and you edit it based on your own stuff. I wouldn't have thought of wording it that way.
I think it makes you dumber. It makes you so much dumber. Just do it yourself.
I have gotten a lot dumber. I will agree. I resemble that remark. And I
didn't want to say anything, but since you brought it up,
my brain is, I feel aging. I do feel aging coming on here. And if I can rely on hacks and tricks to help me with just not having to hold so much goddamn information in my brain at one time, I'm okay with that.
I don't know. I think you need to come up with Alex Winter on your own.
What are you talking? What's Alex Winter?
You don't even remember. It was like literally the last thing we talked about. Alex Winter come up with his name on your own. He was the
from Waiting
Keanu
for
Reeves.
Godot. Well, you did Google.
See?
You still went online and figured it out.
Oh,
anytime you have a question, you just go to Google. But hey, are you a Ricky Gervais fan?
You know what? Sometimes I think I really like him, and then sometimes he's just he takes his shtick so far that I think he's just kind of a dick.
Totally agree.
So I don't like as much as I kind of like. I love that irreverent kind of humor, and I think he takes it to the point where he's just mean, and I don't enjoy it as much. So, but yeah, I do still think I would definitely say I'm a fan.
I watched his last special. He doesn't have like quick little jokes, he tells these stories that have a payoff, and you get to the end and you're like, yeah, that didn't work. That didn't pay off. But sometimes they do pay off, and you're like, that was pretty clever.
You like his new one?
I was pretty happy with it. Yeah, I honestly can't remember specifics, but the thing that had me laughing hard, it's kind of like, as we're aging and we think of different generations, we're at this point where we can now see our young children who are becoming their adult people, and they come from different experiences, and culture affects them differently than anyway. So he's talking about how nowadays, actually, when you and I were kids and in high school, we had two modes. I'm trying to tell a story, but
maybe I'll just watch it.
Maybe you will. Might be more entertaining.
Right.
But he says, okay, so nowadays, young people will identify with whatever thing it is. I'm ADHD. I'm this. I'm, you know what I mean? So many different when we were kids, we wanted to be not mental, right?
Right.
But now it's like, to be mental, what we would have called is like, hey, you're mental. It's embraced. And people will like say, this is my mental hurdle. Love me for my mental hurdle that I live with every day.
Right.
And that could probably get me in a lot of trouble for even bringing it up on the podcast. But
that's okay. You just say what you're going to say, and I'll make it worse, and they'll remember me.
Okay, there you go.
Because I've got a thought. Yeah, I got you.
It's so true. It's like we did everything just to fit in and be normal, be like everybody else.
Or try to be. Yeah, you didn't want to be the weird kid. But I feel like this art show world that we're in, like, I'd say like a good percentage of us are on the spectrum. I mean, like I'm like, what is going on? Like, how are they even communicating with people? But totally. It for sure feels like that.
Hey, Kat Tesla, you remember Kat, right? Kat.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. She's great.
I love that she does some of this like business coaching. That's kind of part
she's
of
really
her
good
career.
at it. If you don't follow her Instagram feed, she frequently puts up like a really interesting question, and it's cool to see whether it's people from our own peers who are chiming in, or different people that are from different walks of life in the art show world or art world. Mm-hmm. I mean, but yeah, go ahead.
Have you seen the one she put out recently?
No.
Okay, I thought it would be a good topic of conversation, and she said she witnessed a customer come into a newish artist booth and ask them about their work and about pricing, and that she noticed from a new artist, their reaction was actually getting in their own way, that they were feeling like they'd have to justify or explain why this is the way it is, and almost feel like the people who are coming into their booth, like they really don't want it, or it's too expensive or whatever. Like they already had this negative sense of how they feel about their own work. Like it's a hard hurdle to sell it. And the teaching part of it is letting people know that that's like shooting yourself in the foot, that you need to really come at it from a whole different headspace.
Yeah, we've talked about that kind of getting in your own way thing. That's an interesting way to say it. And I think that only comes with practice. Mm-hmm. Whereas you say certain things and it gets, like, I've learned that people will ask questions, and it 9 times out of 10, it doesn't really matter what you say. You don't really have to answer it unless they want to know for a particular reason. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember somebody asking me because he didn't like a smaller piece that I'd done, and he was like, kept asking about the price. And then finally he got around to saying, well, I just want to know where you get off charging $200 for this, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Like where I get off.
Right. Like you're not holding a gun to their head. If it's too expensive and you don't want it, walk away.
Yeah, but he didn't think the value was there. And I was like, oh, well, just leave. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's not for everyone then. Mm-hmm. Like, it just doesn't really matter. And if you have kind of a pat response of like, we all have, or should at this point, mm-hmm. no matter what point you're in, you have to have a response to the, how long does this take you? Because that's the, do you come around here often of the art show world.
Exactly, right.
You come around this bar often? It's just, that's the thing that they're just saying, hey, I like this. And it
Tell
looks
me
like
about
it took time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can just give them your spiel. It doesn't really matter what you say. But as far as like, well, how did you arrive at your pricing? Like, oh, well, I've got my own spiel. I don't know if you want me to give it or not, but
sure.
With that one, I'll just start talking about how long it takes. I'm like, well, my work is very time consuming. And a long time ago, I started at a base price of how long it took and how much I wanted to pay myself an hour and how much I thought I could actually get an hour. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of balanced that with how quickly and how slowly I want to sell. I want to be able to sell at a certain clip. And if it's priced too high, I can't move the work. And if it's priced too low, I move it too quickly. So it's all a matter of supply and demand and how long the work actually takes me to complete. Mm-hmm. But you also look at people's eyes. Mm-hmm. And you can tell how much interest they have in their own question by how quickly they glaze over.
Oh, right, as you're talking. Because then you could just stop talking and go on to a different topic.
Well, right. And I glance down. We do this over an app where I can see your face. And I see you glaze over. I'm like, well, if Douglas isn't interested in his own question that he asked, I should shut up quickly. So you clearly weren't interested. Yeah, I do. I look at people's faces and we read them all the time. I'm like, this guy doesn't care about how long it takes.
Right.
I'm going to be quiet. Or if this little girl who just walked into the booth and really wants to know, I'm like, okay, I'll tell you how long.
I guess my answer, if someone says, why is this much, but this one is this much? And then the second one choice is more expensive. I'll be like, because this one is more complicated to do. Boom. Question over. Let's talk about something else. You know what I mean? It's like the longer we explain, if you're explaining, what's the word? If you're like in politics, if you're explaining, you're losing or something like that.
Right. I hate that with jewelry too. And when you're selling jewelry and you jewelers have to deal with how come an earring, 2 earrings cost this much, mm-hmm. but then the medallion, which is basically like 1 earring, is costing more. It's like, well, dude, the chain, because the chain is expensive. Right. Oh, well, can I buy it without the chain? I'm like, well, this one has been put on the chain. I could send you one, but then you're going to have to put it on a different chain, and you'll find out yourself how
reasonably priced this chain is.
Yeah, exactly. And it's almost like buying framed and unframed work. It's like, well, yeah, you can take it unframed, like people that like printmakers. You can buy it in the sleeve and then you can put it in your closet for the rest of all time because you're not actually going to get around to framing it.
Right. Don't you feel like if customers are trying to cut costs and figure out how they could do it a little bit less, that then they really just can't afford it? They really...
Yeah, or God help them, the people that want you to chisel their grandma's cracked old piece of crap emerald out of their old dusty ring full of maggots.
Yeah. I did have somebody once who was pretty upset with us that we couldn't, in the design of their piece, put their initials. I said, well, we could engrave it. We could use like an engraver. And they said, no, they want something more substantial. I'm like, we're not like inventing a whole new series and coming up with a new way of doing things just to like, in the color itself, spell out your name.
Just to put their name?
He wanted it to be like a romantic kind of like anniversary gift of some kind, which is so great. But I mean,
so somebody else's initials, at least, that's not quite as
his and his wife's, like yeah. But just, I mean, it's kind of cool because Renee and I, when we were on our honeymoon, we went to Murano and we bought a piece, from the island. And they said, "Are you here on your honeymoon?" Because I'm sure they could read it all over us. And we're like, yes. And they're like, would you like us to engrave your initials and your wedding date on there? I'm like, oh, and it made it so much more meaningful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I totally get that. I get the gesture.
Totally. Yeah, I'm not looking down my nose at it, because I've definitely put some initials and, can you put our wedding date on the license plate of the car and all of this stuff. So yeah, I do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There's one right there. That's the date that Robert Johnson died, on the license plate of that car
God.
right behind me.
That's so cool. That is so
Kinda.
cool. So what are you thinking about this year? Like, what are some of your goals? Do you have anything in particular that is different than normal, or is it kind of like just...
Not really. It's all judged on by the shows that you get, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to have 2 in Florida and 2 in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
That those are my 2 in a row that I'm doing, that they're close by. Mm-hmm. And then I get to do other things. So, which I don't know. I threw a lot at the wall to see what would stick, to see what kind of schedule I could put together.
I did that too. And we ended up getting, I mean, how insane is this one? We got Palm Springs, La Quinta, and we got Coconut Grove and some stuff in Florida. And I had to really wrap my brain around, is there any scenario where it made any sense to drive from Miami all the way out to California? No.
There's not.
There's not.
I think the only thing that makes sense is if you are prolific enough to create 2 bodies of work and you get somebody else to drive and you can fly. But
we're not at that level.
Don't.
So no.
Yeah. Nah. Mm-hmm. I just don't see it. I've got a booth design in my head. I think I'm gonna go different for that. And my panels are getting pretty old, the ones that I built. So those are getting pretty old and need either to be resanded down or sand them back down and restained, or I need to just go all new. I've thought about just going with maybe black pro panels.
Okay.
I did find out, this is kind of interesting. I've got old pro panels, old gray ones that I've had. They call them light gray, even though they look kind of fairly dark gray.
Okay.
But
like a charcoal?
Yeah, exactly. So I've had that, and the work looks good on those guys for years, but I've been thinking about doing black ones. But they will sell you just the covers for the large pro panels if you want to go a different color, if the ones are getting old or stained.
Yeah.
So I thought about doing that. It makes it a little bit more reasonable, especially with like the Artist Garage group on Facebook. I don't know if you ever go to that, but man, people get freaking cocky about what they have. They're like, I've had this tent for 11 years and it's been my tried and true, etc. And it's got these awnings. And then they try to sell it for like just a few $100s, what they paid for it. It's like $2,500.
I guess I haven't looked.
Tent.
I haven't looked recently, but I had always thought people were like just selling it at a good price. But
no, that's the way it used to be. But anymore, I feel like people they're like, oh, I'll recoup all of my cost. It's like, dude, you used it for the last 10 years. Right. I just buy new ones.
My father-in-law was classic for being able to buy a used car and resell it for more than he bought it for. So there are people out there that have those kinds of skills.
I'm going to sell my old panels and be like, Will Armstrong used these. Pinky out. These panels have exhibited at Coconut Grove, Cherry Creek.
They've got a lot of good mojo in them.
That's right. That's what you're buying, people.
But did you say you're considering putting the wood panels back on? Did I hear you right?
I think I will sell them. They've just gotten a little heavy for me.
I was going to say, those are... My rotator cuffs are crying thinking of you trying to use those again.
They're just too heavy for me. I mean, they're not, it's not prohibitive, but it's like a pro panel is 12 pounds and my wooden panel is 38.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and it's like I could do, if I'm in wooden panel shape, I can pick up 5 or 6 of those boys and leave them zip tied together and just accordion them out that's what's nice. Mm-hmm. I swear to God, like I could be spokesman for pro panel if they need it. I'm going to hit them up.
Okay.
I'm going to hit them up.
All right.
It's free advertising. Got to get paid, Douglas.
Yeah, totally. So back to our thinking about our year and what's coming up for us. And for us, we're at that point in our lives where it seems like we've been chipping away at that debt wheel for feels like our entire lives. And to see kind of like that number coming down, our children are grown, they're launched for all intents and purposes, and they can take care of themselves. So it changes what we need to support ourselves from our art business. And then it just comes down to just how hard do we need to work? How hard do we want to work to support our life?
You know, I know for a fact that I'm worried about the fact that my daughter is leaving, you know?
Yeah.
She's pulling away. She's 17. She's looking at colleges on the East Coast. And that's your job as a parent, is to let them go and encourage them to be free and to give them the strength so that they can leave. But man, it does hurt when it starts to come to fruition. So
when it actually is right in front of you, it's like, whoa, this is too soon. I wasn't ready for this.
Yeah, so we're looking at, you know, all sorts of new expenses coming up for us this year, and sending the first one off to school, and then the second one will be, you know, shortly on her heels. I've got 17 and 15 in the house right now, and she'll be gone in pretty much the summer, really. I mean, she'll be wanting to do her own things. And
what is she looking to go into?
Science. She really likes biology. She's got a head for science and studies possibly marine biology, but she wants to go to a liberal arts school so that she can get a lot of different flavors of things and see where it takes her. But she's very driven in whatever she does, and gets good grades, and should have a lot of opportunities here coming up. So
cool.
Anyway, yeah, it's new expenses for me, and other ones coming to an end for you. But
this career is not stable. Really, every month for our entire career is just about paying the bills that are right in front of us. And it's interesting for where we're at this time of our lives, where we're now able to focus on ourselves a little bit more. And it's really a weird experience to go from being a young couple to a couple that has children. And that is such an exciting part of our lives. It was raising kids and getting them to be, you know, adult humans and stuff. But then it's almost like we come back to where it all started. And you know what I mean? It's like, well, that's right. You again, you know, so some of these trips have been really a good opportunity for us to rediscover that, you know, those early days. And it's
I love
fun.
it.
Yeah.
There's a great, I believe it's Esther Perel who she's either a great relationship podcaster or she's the gal who sang Frozen.
Okay. So it could be one or the other.
It's one or the other. I don't know. Where's my chat GBT? Anyway, but there's a bit of advice talking about that there are three different marriages, or three different marriages in any person's life.
Okay.
It's the beginning romantic relationship, it's the family, create the family relationship, and it's the post family, they're out of the household. And if you're lucky, you're in the relationship with the same person all the way through. And that's the case for you guys. And pretty exciting to see you guys go into the third and final stage before you die.
Lovely. Lovely.
Bringing it all back to death. Yeah. All right, Douglas. I think we've recorded enough to carve an episode out.
I think we have. This has been a
good talking to you, sir. I can have a fantastic trip in New York. Give my best to Renee. And we'll see you in Florida.
Yeah. And you get busy, for crying out loud.
God, Jesus. All right. Sounds good.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Happy birthday.
All right. Take care.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by the National Association of Independent Artists. The website is naiaartists.org.
Also sponsored by Zapplication. That's zapplication.org. And while you're at it, find us on social media and engage in these conversations.
Be sure to subscribe to this podcast to be notified when we release new episodes.
Oh, and if you like the show, we'd love it if you would give us your 5-star rating and offer up your most creative review on your podcast streaming service. See you next time.